Hello team. So finally we are going to learn about the models which are going to actually help us in building the softwares. So we are going to start with prescriptive set of process models. So as we have already talked about it, let me just revise it. Prescriptive process models define a prescribed set of process elements and a predictable process workflow. So here prescriptive word is used because they prescribe a set of process elements, that is framework activities, actions, tasks, work products, quality assurance, checkpoints and change control mechanism for each project. Each process model is also going to prescribe a process flow. Do you remember we had discussed 4 types of process flow? Can you tell which one were them? So the linear flow, parallel flow, iterative flow. So these were all the flows which we had seen. So these prescriptive process models are also going to describe this process flow, that is the manner in which the process elements are interrelated to one another. Now what is common thing between process models which we are going to study? These all can accommodate the generic framework activities. You remember generic framework activities? Yes, you are right. They are communication, planning, modeling, construction and deployment. But the difference is each is going to apply a different emphasis to these activities, and each model is going to define a process flow that invokes each framework activity as well as software engineering actions and tasks in a different manner. So let's just start. So the first model in the series is the waterfall model. It was originally defined by Winston Royce in 1970 and it is considered as the first established approach to building a system. The waterfall model is sometimes called as the classic life cycle, which suggests a systematic, sequential approach to software development. It is going to follow linear sequential pattern. I hope you remember that. Now what happens here is, like waterfall, phases or activities progress steadily in downward direction. As you can see, this is how it goes. It is used when software requirements are well defined that may not change. Okay, so we are going to understand it. Let's focus on this diagram. So I am starting with communication. Now communication means we are starting the project, we are initiating the project, we are deciding that okay, this is the definition with which we are going to do our final year project. Okay, so this is, and why we are doing it? Because we have evaluated that this kind of project was not done earlier, or maybe this kind of project is the need of the time, and we have also evaluated that we have got sufficient resources to complete this project. So this is the project initiation activity. Now what we are going to do? We are going to collect the requirements. So requirement gathering can be done by talking to your customers, conducting the surveys so as to understand okay, whether this system is going to be really useful or not. So in communication we are initializing the project and we are collecting the requirements. Now here we are assuming that once this activity is complete, then only we are jumping to the planning activity. So what happens in planning? 3 activities are carried out: estimating, scheduling and tracking. So estimating is we are going to estimate how many resources we are going to need. So that resources are computer resources, software resources, human resources. So thereby estimating these resources, we are also going to estimate the cost, duration of the project, efforts required to complete this. So estimation is done in planning activity. Then we are going to prepare a schedule. Okay, so this is how we are going to work. The way we prepare a schedule for our semester, the same thing is happening here. Who is going to teach which subject to which class, and who are the students who are going to attend it, which one will be the classroom where the practicals will be conducted. So the same strategy is applied here. And tracking is we are going to set some milestones so that at the end of the activity we are going to see whether whatever we have done is as per schedule or not. Some tracking mechanism we are going to set here. Now once our planning is done, we are going to go here. So in modeling, we are having two activities, analysis and design. So what we are analyzing here is the requirements which we have collected. We are going to analyze them. It means we are going to understand them. Okay, so when I say I am going to prepare a system where the classrooms are monitored. So it is a smart classroom project, for example. So what we expect in this project is the whatever teacher is teaching in the class, the contents are automatically recorded by the system. So analysis is done in order to understand what kind of scenario we will be needing, what tools we will be needing, how we are going to do this, what technology we are going to need, what tool support we will need. So this is how I am understanding the requirements. Okay, now after understanding, I am going to create a design document where I will be able to show, okay, this is how the functions are going to communicate with each other. This is how the data will be shared among them. So that is a pictorial representation of what my work is. After finishing this, we are going to start with construction activity, where we are going to write the code for equivalent design which we have created, and it is expected that once the code is written, we are going to test it to see whether it works properly or not. Now once we are done with coding and testing part, we are going to shift to this deployment activity, where we are going to talk about delivery. So whatever we have developed, that we are going to hand over to our customer, and we are going to extend our support in operating that software, in helping the team to get it familiar with it, and we are going to also collect the feedback in the deployment, so as to understand what were the problems the team was facing, how whether the system went well or not, what were the technical issues which were there. So continuous support will be provided throughout the lifetime of the project. This is what is expected when we deploy it. Okay, original waterfall model which was proposed by Winston, he made a provision for feedback loops, but the vast majority of organizations that are applying this process model are following it as if it is strictly linear. They are saying that we cannot go back, but actually the possibility was there that if I get a problem here and if I get a problem in the feedback, then I should go here, wherever it is necessary, and I should again proceed further to get the correct thing which the customer was expecting from me. So what are the advantages? So advantages are, it is a structured approach where stages are well defined. In each stage we know what is the task which we have to do. It is a simple approach where each phase has specific deliverable. Deliverable is after each phase we know that we are going to get a document where code is written. We are going to get a document where it is written that this piece of code has passed the test. After each, we are going to get the deliverable as, here we are going to get the deliverable as the schedule, plan. Okay, after this we are going to get the deliverable as design document. Okay, after this phase we are going to get the deliverable as the actual working product and also the documentation part to support it. So this is how each phase is having some deliverable, specific deliverable. Now what is the disadvantage? It is very difficult to go back to any stage after it is finished. This is what the industry is believing. A working version of program is not available until late in the project. Now this is important, we started from this phase, and when we came here, that time actual system was available for us to see. Okay, if you will understand that when we are going to study the other models where customer is getting the feel of seeing the actual product very early in the development life cycles. So here with waterfall model is the problem. Here the customer is noticing what the team has done. Okay, now throughout the model discussion, you have to remember these all phases very clearly. Now in the next models where I'll be describing them, I'll just show you how these all communicate, how these all are residing. This part we have already understood here, and that is going to repeat in the next model as well. So team, I hope you are understanding how we are going to start working, and soon we are going to start with one example where we will be understanding how communication planning, modeling, construction and deployment is done. So once your practicals are started, we will apply these all phases to your practical. Interesting? So see you in the next class. Thank you.